This video was sponsored by JLC PCB. This is my Sideloader Lite Compute Module, a simple Raspberry Pi 3 powered device fitted with built-in battery and charging circuit. It has a dedicated Sideloader Lite connector, which lets you connect any type of the Sideloader device with composite display. Here's how I made it. So I've started by designing my own battery charging circuit. As always, I'm using Fusion 360 to design all of my electronics. With the board pretty much done, I can now generate Gerber files for the JLC PCB order. I will be using the JLC PCB dedicated CAM file. It's absolutely the easiest way to do it. You basically select the CAM file and press the generate button. Software will do all the work for you. You can of course find the Gerber files on my Patreon page. Those are pretty much ready for the order. You just have to download them and upload to the JLC PCB website. Now you can open the JLC PCB website and place an order. The whole process is super simple. You just click Add Gerber files and select your zip file. Now we wait a couple of seconds for it to upload. And now that the upload is finished, we can change the board parameters. Of course you don't have to change anything if you don't want to. But there are a couple of useful options, like board color and thickness. Once you are done with the changes, you just click Save to Cart and place an order. Here you can select the shipping address and select the shipping method. After that, select Review before payment and Submit order. The package arrived very fast, as usual. All of the boards come safely packaged in blue cardboard box, so it's impossible for them to get damaged in transport. I order the boards usually on the 1 week basis, so each week I have new boards to work with. As always, I've ordered a control group version of the board and a proper modified one. This one is the control group version. It has all of the traces and components that the original one used. As always, the build quality is incredible. The manufacturing cost is less than $2, which is honestly amazing for this type of build quality. And the other board is the modified one. It has some changes to the layout, and I've also removed the unused components. The original board used the big USB connector, which was being used to connect any sorts of USB devices. I've removed it completely in my version. I have a lot of original boards, so I don't have to order any of the components. You can also order the boards fully assembled from the JLC PCB. They have all of the stuff needed for it to happen. I will start by assembling the control group version. This will tell me if the schematics are correct. I always coat my boards with a liquid flux. This will help greatly when soldering with the hot air. After the flux is done, I'm covering all of the pins with solder. It's easier this way for the hotter soldering. I'm of course transferring all of the old parts to the new board. This way I'm sure that all of the components are working. You can of course buy and use new components, but I don't want to waste any parts. All of the components are now soldered. I even attached the big USB connector, just to make the board as close to the original as possible. I've also soldered the new one as well. Basically I can test out both of them at the same time. When you plug the board to the power source, the small LED will go up. This means that the board is working, but it doesn't charge anything. The second one basically works the same. It just looks way nicer. You can test the voltage output with any kind of multimeter. It should be at around 4 volts. You can of course add a simple power switch to turn off any device that is being charged. I will be using the board with this small battery right here. It's rated for 3.7 volts. You can of course use way bigger cells, like those found in power banks. I've decided on using the bigger battery, since this one is actually brand new. I've connected it to my board and it's actually charging. It already supplies enough voltage for my USB stick to light up. This means it works properly and can be now used with other devices. For this build, I will be using my old Raspberry Pi 3. It has been through some stuff, as you can see. I've removed some of the ports as I didn't really use them. It's also dirty as hell, so it needs cleaning up first. I use regular IPA to clean all of my electronics. It removes the flux residue perfectly. After a while I took it out of the alcohol bath and cleaned it using my toothbrush. Of course I've used a spare one. I've also managed to solder back the USB ports. I felt like 4 of USB ports are way better than 2. I might even solder back the Ethernet port. Of course I also designed a fully 3D printed case. It's meant to house all of the electronics, including the charging circuit and battery. The installation is pretty simple. You just slide the Raspberry Pi inside and secure it with 4 M2 screws. You can of course use only 2 screws if you want. It should be plenty to hold the board in place. As you can see, all of the screws are now installed. Now there is no way the board will fall out. Let's flip it to the other side now. This small opening right here is for the video cable installation. I've also made holes for CPU ventilation and GPIO ports. Let's now install the micro SD card before I completely forget about it. The card should go inside without any issue. To remove it afterwards, you can use a small pair of pliers. Of course the case wouldn't be complete without some kind of cover. The case is pretty big, so it was very easy to add mounting hooks. The cover simply slaps inside while pushed with enough force. As you can see, the top cover holds really well. There is no way it will fall out by itself. Now let's install the battery and the charging circuit. I've already soldered it in pre-advance. The whole thing goes directly into the plastic case. There is no need to use any screws, since everything will be held with the bottom cover. I've placed the charging port on the side, since I felt it was the best place for it. This unit of course needs a connector for the display device. The jack connector goes directly into this hole. It should be a pretty tight fit so that it won't fall out during use. I designed this case so that the jack won't have any space to move. Of course this unit wouldn't be complete without some sort of power switch. I will be using simple toggle switch to power on my device. It goes directly to the side of the unit. I've made 2 small holes so that it can be secured with 2 M2 screws. Both screws are 10 mm in length. The whole assembly looks pretty nice. I really like how sturdy it looks. So now it's time to wire everything up. I've used a red wire to connect all of the voltage connections together. I've wired the switch in a way that lets you cut the voltage to the Raspberry Pi without turning off the charging unit. This basically means you can charge the battery without turning on the computer. For the ground connections I've used a classic black cable. And finally the video signal. For this I will be using a yellow one. The video cable connects directly to the video pin on the Pi. It's connected directly to the original audio jack. The other end of the cable of course goes to my jack. Here you can see all of the connections. Of course my jack has both video and voltage pins, so that you can actually power the display device. Here you can see the Pi actually booting up when I press the switch. This basically means that it works fine. Of course I designed a simple bottom cover for the electronic parts. It uses pretty much the same mounting method as the top one. You install it by just pushing it inside. Once again, it's a pretty tight fit, so it might require a bit of force. And just like that, the whole unit is ready. Now let's see how it's working. I've had to plug it into the wall socket, since the battery is charged out. The red light here means that it's charging. To test this unit, I will use this simple composite display. It's wired exactly like the Sideloader Lite. Also it plugs into the same socket as the Sideloader does. As you can see, when I switch it on, the display shows the manufacturer logo. This means that the power is wired correctly. Of course there is no video signal yet. Now I will download the Raspberry Pi OS for Sideloader. This is the regular Raspberry Pi OS, but modified to work with the Sideloader. You can write the image to your SD card using Win32 Disk Imager. It does take a while though. Okay, so now that we have the system ready, we can finally test the unit. I've plugged the micro SD card to my Raspberry Pi and turned on the power. It takes a while to boot, but it's definitely working. Also the display is super low res, but it's just for testing, so that's fine. And now you can finally see the Raspberry Pi OS. And that's pretty much all for today. Thanks for watching everyone and hope to see you in the next video. And as always, huge thanks to my patrons.